Welcome to the Conscious Living Podcast, conversations to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. An uplifting and inspiring series of conversations and talks with your host, Jackie Woodside. We are educating minds, empowering lives, and enlightening souls to create a world where love prevails. In this engaging podcast, we deliver exciting, positive, transformative talks and teachings designed to elevate your life. Now, let's join our host, Jackie Woodside, for this week's session.
Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you're here with us again today for another episode of the Conscious Living Podcast, where we are here to educate, empower, and enlighten our world with strategies to live more consciously with time, money, and life itself. Because, this thing called life is sometimes a little bit of a ride. Have you noticed lately? Anyway, so thanks for being here. Thanks for being on Team Consciousness, being part of this tribe of people committed to awakening. Really, I'm saying that with a little jest, but it means the world to me to know that there are so many people out there. I love getting emails and messages from people telling me what a difference the podcast makes to them. And I just want to thank you because we're doing this together. Awakening humanity to its divinity, awakening to our higher self. And today I'm just so excited to bring to the Conscious Living Podcast Ariya Lorenz. She and I met at a Mindvalley event, just randomly, literally 200 or 300 people there, and Vishkin and 200 of his closest friends. And Ariya and I just were drawn to each other from, that kind of fateful across the room, and spent, 45 minutes just chatting and getting to know each other at this very enjoyable Mindvalley event that we were at. And we have such a shared passion for humanity and for awakening and for people really knowing the truth of who they are. So it's one of those beautiful moments when you meet someone that is a soul sister and a kindred spirit. And that's the experience that we've had together. And it's just been so great to continue to collaborate. So Ariya Lorenz from Hawaii, welcome to the Conscious Living Podcast. Let me just say a couple more things about you. She's the author and founder of Higher Self Mastery, and her mission is to help people connect to their higher selves. I love that. And she helps people to really understand their soul's purpose and get clear guidance on how to live it. I love that. She has been featured on Soulvana and Mindvalley, is really one of their top speakers. Her workshops are always the most sought after. So Ariya, it's just so great to be here with you. Welcome to the podcast. Do you want to say a few more things about yourself as we get started?
Oh, well, no, thank you so much for sharing this space with me today. And thank you to all the listeners who are here. I'm just so excited to be here. And yeah, we could share more words, but let's just dive into the interview, and then people can get to feel our shared reality and hopefully really step into what comes through me as a channel as well. So I can, add to this amazing podcast. And I just want to really tell you, sweetheart Jackie, I'm so grateful that I'm here participating and contributing to your mission, because this is also my mission, and, really bringing higher consciousness to the planet and helping people to awake to a higher level of being from which we live and then impact the world around us. That's just nothing more fulfilling than that. Thank you so much.
So true. Yeah, no, I so love that. It's so fascinating to me. I mean, I guess, it's so fascinating to me how simple it is. The concepts that we teach are really quite simple. And yet, the strength of the human condition, the strength of the mechanistic nature of the ego, how it operates when you aren't awakened, when you are unconsciously living, the ego will keep you like the veil from the experience of living in your higher essence or the higher self. So let's just start there. Like you help people really connect with their higher self. Let's start very basic. What does that even mean? And I'd love to talk also about the difference that it makes living from ego versus living from essence. So any of that interests you, feel free to dive in.
Oof, I love it. Thank you so much. I just went through an interview with my son, who's now 16 years old, and we delve into that topic because, if you are raising your consciousness higher above your circumstances, and then you are in solution mode, and therefore you can impact your world and also, solve all the problems from that higher perspective, then you need to find a way to get there, right? So we can't just say, oh, I have a problem here. I'm on the level of the problem. I'm dealing with, let's say, anxiety. I'm dealing with depression, or I have a bad breakup, or, difficult situation at work. And, oh, I'm just going to raise my consciousness and everything is going to be gone. That doesn't happen. And so is it that simple, or is it actually difficult? It depends. If you have the keys, it becomes simple. Just like if you're standing in front of a house and that house is locked, not having a key can literally inhibit you from getting in that house. So going into the house will be utterly difficult. There'll be actually no way, unless you want to break a window and go to jail for that.
Right.
But if you have the key, how simple does it become? All of a sudden, you're just opening the door and you're in.
Yeah.
And that difference I see all the time with my clients. I mean, I work since 20 years one-on-one with people. I have 1,000 clients a year. And I started off as a healer. And now I'm helping people also heal, but heal from a level of them accessing their higher self, finding their purpose, and then everything heals along the way. Because this is kind of like the key. Before I would come and open the house for them with my key, and then they have access for a little bit, and then they need me again or somebody else to open the house. Now we're giving people the keys by really finding what does cause disease, what does cause disharmony is usually when we're not dead on our soul purpose. And our circumstances or our bodies help us adjust to a greater harmony, which is when we're on purpose, we're 100% harmonious, in harmony.
I love that. Yeah. When you say no, go ahead with that thought. I have a bunch of questions from what you've said already, but go ahead.
No, yeah, I just wanted to say, when we are basically on that harmonious path, things become easy and everything just flows. But the key to getting there is understanding that we are not our egos. And we only have an ego, and understanding what the ego is, and then taking the reins and saying, okay, thank you, ego. I need you for certain things. For example, I need you for survival. If I'm in a difficult situation where survival is at risk, ego wants to take over. And then you're actually getting the reins. But other than that, I'm going to have the reins. And that changes everything. I just want to do a quick comparison to that, if you don't mind. Yeah. And the comparison is, if you are, let's say, having the reins in your hand and you're in a carriage and you are trained to ride the carriage really beautifully. That's the situation when your higher self is leading. You also are high up. You're seeing everything that before it occurs, and you got a good vision. Now, when the ego is leading, the ego is sitting underneath you. And all it sees is the road. And it just knows to keep you on the road. It doesn't see whether there are cars coming, whether there are other carriages coming, whether there are people walking. It doesn't see anything, but it knows to keep you on the road. Mm-hmm. And that is only needed when you're running away or driving away from a fire, from some kind of emergency. Because if there's an emergency, you can't care for the other people. You can't ask them into your carriage. You can't say, oh, look at the flowers. You actually literally have to just look at the road. But if you're running your life that way, you're causing a lot of damage to yourself and to others, and it's hard. So coming up onto that driver's seat from the higher perspective and taking the reins is what it means to live from the higher self.
So beautiful. You talked about a couple of things that interest me. When you talk about soul purpose, what are you referring to?
Well, I believe that everybody comes in with a purpose. I really believe that we are choosing our lives. We are eternal souls. And so when we have a body temporary, and we're going out of the body when we die. We don't disappear. That's the belief I'm basing everything on. And of course, I have my own evidence for that, but everybody needs to find their, path, what they want to believe. A belief is a choice.
Yeah.
A belief is not something that, you get from your parents or something. It's a choice.
Well, it is. You can inherit beliefs, but then when you become conscious, I mean, that's what's so important about our work, because without getting conscious, you do live with a lot of inherited beliefs from our culture, our political party, your socioeconomic class, your ethnicity, your parents, your educational background. It's all constantly, infusing and creating neural pathways and how you think. And when you think the same way over and over, that becomes, quote unquote, the way life is.
Right.
Don't recognize it's not the way life is, it's the way I've become. Like,
that's correct. Yeah.
That's the key. It's like, no, it's not that way. I am that way, meaning I've come to see it that way. I've come to believe that way. And then when you believe it that way, you interpret life through that lens, and life keeps giving you more opportunities to affirm and validate a belief.
I love it. Wonderfully explained. Exactly. And so coming back to that understanding that, wow, the belief is actually a choice and I can choose something else.
Right.
It's very powerful.
True. It's not true. I just inherited this from somewhere. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And for that, we sometimes need healing because, you can make that choice. I want to change the belief. But if our subconsciousness is programmed, like you said, to a different belief, and it's been repeated many times, 100,000 times, then you're making a different choice, and starting to think consciously in a different way will not really move the needle a lot, because we're only 20% maximum conscious and 80% we're subconscious. So our subconsciousness lives as 80% of the time, and that's where our conditions are in. So we sometimes need healing for that, where we can literally remove the subconscious blocks and traumas that we've experienced that have impacted us, so that we can go up on that higher perspective and make a new choice.
I love that. So what are some ways that people can get in touch? This is always so so circular, right? Like, well, if it's subconscious or unconscious, then how do I heal it? And, if I don't heal it, then it stays subconscious. And so it becomes kind of circular. So let's address that a little bit.
Yeah, I love that. So basically our goal is, like we said earlier, to live from that higher perspective and to live outside of ego, have ego as a tool. Just like I use my computer as a tool, have your ego as a tool, right? And I like to refer to the ego as the computer, because it's a literally programmed mind, programmed part of our minds, and it doesn't have its own consciousness. It doesn't have wisdom. It only has input, what got put in, and then it sort of uses its algorithm and makes sense of situations and gives you an output that is likely to happen according to your programming. So if you're using your ego in order to live your life, and that's what most people do, you're actually always going to get the same results. And then you end up with what you just said, a programmed brain where the subconsciousness is programmed to a certain behavior or experiences. And you find yourself not being able to manifest what you want. You just instead keep manifesting the same thing over and over. And how do you address that? I believe in a combination of healing and consciousness work. So the consciousness work is, we need to first understand what's going on and then understand how we can solve this. And with this understanding, we're in the driver's seat again. We have the reins. Yeah. Now we can actually drive the carriage. But then if we're in the driver's seat, that doesn't mean we got the training to drive it correctly.
Right.
It means we got the training from the guy down below who looks at the road. So we may be looking at the road down there while we're in the upper seat and still not making any difference. And that is where subconscious patterns have to be released. And that's actually very simple. Sometimes I need only one healing session for a person. Mm-hmm. I do one healing session and a huge major block is released. I do something that's called a heart wall opening. And because what happens when we get traumatized or programmed with, let's say, intense negative situations through our lives, and it sometimes happens at birth when we're getting taken away from the mom. That's the first trauma. Then we actually build up what is like a wall around our heart. And there is a person who is taught a healing modality called the emotion code. His name is Bradley Nelson. And I have done his training and I adopted what he shared there. And so I want to honor his name with that. Look him up if you're interested in learning more of how you can remove those subconscious blocks yourself. But what I've been doing in my healing sessions is I use this method of removing the subconscious blocks around the heart, and I combine it with my healing methods that I've learned from the masters over the last 20 years, where we're diving into the past experience, the cause of that event, and we actually heal it. We're not just removing the blockage. We do that also, but we heal the event so that the person can represent the healed version of themselves in that moment. And it happens in an hour. And so people can literally step out of patterns like a simple pattern would be you're afraid of flying in an airplane, and you can't even think of flying an airplane without getting almost a heart attack. That's gone. Other examples would be, relationships are hard, or you can't attract your soulmate, or your abundance is blocked. And if that is related to your heart, then heart wall, I should say, to the blockages around your heart, one session will remove that. Otherwise, we need more. But either way, we can remove what's in the past, because you as a person have already become a better version because of it. You've already grown. You use these traumas as a stepping stone. If you're listening to my voice, you know who I mean. And you're already up there. Now we're just removing the anchor that keeps pulling you back into the past by removing the subconsciousness part of that trauma as well.
Wow. It's so interesting. So two thoughts at the same time. I'll tell you both of them and then we'll decide together where we want to go. How's that?
Sure. Okay.
So one thought is, I think you have an experiential exercise around that topic, yes, that we're going to do together? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one, but I don't want to go there quite yet. Coming attractions, stay tuned. I do want to go there because I'm excited to do it with you, but I have a question in my mind, about, you heal it. So you heal this past trauma. Part of my belief system, I'm curious what you think of this, is that yes, there are traumas that have to do with the past, but there's also just the human condition. Healing and removing that trauma, yes, of course, powerful, important, get on that plane and go, girl, get that job, get that promotion, get that partner, right our country, get it back in a better place. Yes, all of those blocks, I love that. And, you got on the airplane, you did that fabulous trip, you got that promotion, and you're still a human being. So you see what I'm saying? So
absolutely couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so part of it, I do take a little exception to people just talking about traumas from the past, because there are traumas from the past. And yes, there are things that we need to heal from. But I'm really passionate about people understanding you're still a human being with a human ego. That's until you recognize that, you're still at the whims of the human condition. So dive in.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for bringing that up, because this is exactly what I found. I started healing, like I said, 20 years ago, became one of the most well-known healers in the world. And I found out that if I only focus on healing, I literally reinforce the problem. And the problem is the person being in a victim mode, in the mood of somebody needs to fix me. There's something wrong with me. And then I realized people are constantly telling me what's wrong with them. And all I'm hearing is what's wrong. And I just couldn't bear it anymore. And I went up to my higher self, and I do everything with my higher self. This is also how I got trained in healing. And I went to the higher self and I said, okay, higher self, you got to help me. I need to figure out how I can actually help people and not reinforce the problem or bypass the problem or now create a symptom healing situation where people are actually creating more symptoms so they can see me. So we got to change this, right? And I got told that I need to lead them to their purpose. And leading them to their purpose really has to do with leading them to their higher self first. Because purpose, again, is something I can tell them. I can do a session where I can tell them, I can tell a person what's your purpose in life. But if you are able to tap into your higher self and find your purpose, it's more meaningful. But not only that, the most important part about that is that if you, in this case, have access to your higher self, I know, Jackie, you have that. And hopefully I'm talking to our listeners here too. So if you're listening to me, I hope you feel connection and resonance. If you are accessing your higher self, you can ask all the questions that are relevant for your life at any time. And you get the answers that involve everyone, not only you, that involve everybody around you, and that have the best in mind for everyone.
Yeah, I love that.
That is a path of zero deviations, right?
Right.
No
and
deviation.
that transcends the human condition. What you just said is the path of self-mastery and transcendence.
Exactly. And I found out that in order to transcend the human condition, in order to lead people to the higher self, I have to take them on a path. I need to go step by step, because I started off saying, no problem, I'm going to show you how to access your higher self and you got this. And it didn't work. Yeah. I showed them how to access the higher self. They couldn't hear any answers. They didn't understand the messages. And I'm like, what's wrong? And so I constantly went up to my higher self to ask, how can I perfect this? And I got shown that we need to go in a 3-step process. You want me to share about that 3-step process?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the first step is people need to learn to master their energy. You need to understand how you master your energy so you have more than enough energy at any time in your life. Because if you have not enough energy, you're going to be on a low vibration.
Low frequency.
Naturally, even if you're a positive person.
Right.
Think about it. If you're a very positive person and you're just moving and you're in moving boxes and you've been moving forever and cleaning out and you're exhausted, your body's hurting and you can't find anything anymore in your house, are you going to be as positive as if you're living in your beautiful mansion and you're relaxed and you're reading a book?
Right.
No, you're not. You're going to be reactive. You're going to be in ego mode, which is the lower part of the brain goes really berserk because you're in survival mode. And if you're in survival mode, something happens in the brain scientifically, and that is the brain locks into the lower part of the brain, the limbic system, and it operates from there. So in other words, you get locked into that little guy in your carriage that looks at the road, and you can't even get out of it. You can wish yourself up there, but you're not able to climb up there. Yeah. So we found out we first have to help you clean your energy and recharge your energy, because then the frequency rises naturally above 250, 350. And we want to get to 350 where it's gratitude. And when we're in gratitude, then we're actually attracting naturally more things to us that we want. And we're operating from that perspective that you just shared, Jackie. And I know you know what I'm talking about. But as you need energy to get there, that's the step 1. Yeah. Step 2 is once you're there, you want to do something with that energy. That's when you don't just need to survive anymore. Now you have extra energy. Now you can create. Now you can create, okay, what do I need in order to fulfill my mission in life? If your mission is maybe helping people and you're a nurse, or your mission is, teaching, or your mission is you're a mechanic and you help people with their cars, or whatever it is, you want to bring out your best in your mission because now you have extra energy. Yeah. You want to bring out your best with your relationships, your partner, your kids. So that's where manifestation comes in. And manifestation in a way that's not, oh, I'm getting what I want, but that's, I'm getting what I need to be my best self.
And I'm being who I am.
Oh, yes. I can fully be who I am. I can be my best self, right?
So it's a state of being. Yeah.
Yeah. So how can I attract what makes me who I am? What makes me resonate on who I am so much? If you're a person who loves beauty, how can I attract that beautiful home? If you're a person who loves simplicity, how can I attract that simple lifestyle? What is it that makes you sing? And how can I bring that into my lap? And that's where manifestation comes in. And we need to learn these metaphysical tools that come into energy management also in form of manifestation. How do I manifest so I'm not just wishing for it or visualizing? I'm actually landing things in my lap, tangible in its 3D reality.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And once people have that, that's step 3. There's an opening. And that opening, and this can be a person who's until now not believed in God or higher consciousness, maybe not even believed in reincarnation and that we come back, that we're eternal. Until now, that's not necessary. But now if we're going to step 3, it's actually necessary to realize there is more than you. There's more than this body that is you. Yeah. So you are more than this body, said in a better way. And how can I access the higher part of me? And how can I access God consciousness that lives through that higher part of me and then into me and expresses through me on this planet? Yeah.
Beautiful.
And for that, manifestation in the way I teach it, or I received it and I'm now sharing it with people, touches in on that, because we're tapping into what are you really meant to bring to the world?
Yeah. What's the energy and vibration that's yours to bring? Yeah.
Oh, yes, exactly. That's what you stand for, helping people really.
Yeah. That you have a unique energetic vibration that is uniquely yours, solely yours to bring into this world. Like that's how this world gets created. And, people's dis-ease and discomfort comes from not living true, not knowing what that energetic vibration is, not knowing how to express it, or worse. And I remember when I was in this phase, knowing that there was this expression, vibration that wanted to come through me, but being too afraid to pursue it. That's a painful path in conscious evolution for sure.
That's so powerful. So powerful. I couldn't agree more.
I remember it well. And I was just getting more and more depressed and, more and more like my life didn't matter. And, and at some level I knew that there was this other thing. I was a full-time psychotherapist at the time in private practice. And, exactly as you said earlier, I was in constant conversations with people about what was wrong. And I couldn't stand it any longer. And I knew there was another vibration and energy that I was meant to bring into this world, which is about, we are here on purpose to grow in consciousness back to the divinity from which we came. Like that's why we're here. And inside of that, each and every one of us has our own unique expression of that.
So powerful. Oh my God, I love it. And my soul is singing at hearing this. Yes, Jackie, of course.
We are so kindred.
And I have resonance with that because I was so deeply depressed as well. I fell into a deep depression at age 18 when my boyfriend died in a car accident. And I literally was so depressed that I couldn't even lift my arm. I remember laying on the ground and I couldn't lift my arm. I didn't know how to get up anymore. All I could do is, if I managed to get to bed, is just sleep and sleep and sleep. And I was just very, extremely miserable. And there was exactly that feeling of being completely lost. I don't have access to the divinity in me. There's nothing divine. And I even negated everything divine. And that would just, get me tunneled into the deepest pit hole there could be. But it was necessary, like you say, how else would I understand this condition? How else would I understand my clients? And how else would I have been able to access my higher self to find a path out of that pit, right?
Right. Yeah, it's always a blessing. Always a blessing. So let's move ahead, and I'd love to have the experience of doing the healing work that you suggested for our session.
Beautiful. Yeah, let's do that. So I shared we have three steps to the higher self. The third I haven't shared it, but I'm going to share it afterwards. And what we're doing right now is the first step. This is part of the first step, is managing your energy. And we thought, Jackie and I, when we talked first, what would be the most meaningful gift I could give in this podcast to you, the listener, that you could take away and actually, have something that you can use on a daily basis if you wish, and it would make a difference in your life. And this is it. I call this the 3-heart connection meditation. And in itself, it's actually one of the best and most powerful tools I have. I start everything off with that. I start every meditation off, every teaching session off with that. When we go to the higher self, we start off with that. I have a thing that's called the morning programming, with which we program our day into living on that higher level of excellence and higher self-consciousness. And the 3-heart connection meditation is the first thing we do there. So I want to show you that. And you can, of course, repeat that. I recommend doing it at least once a day in the morning when you get up, ideally twice a day, morning and evening, but do it whenever you can. You can do it 10 times a day, but the more regular you do this, the more you see results. But yeah, we're diving into it right now. I want to tell you there's 2 aspects to that. One is you're going to cleanse your energy system in a quick way. And the other one is you're going to recharge it in a quick way. Yeah. And the way we do it, I'll guide you so you'll understand after you've been through that. Okay. Good. So let's just sit upright for a moment. Close your eyes if you wish. Start breathing in and out through your nose in a natural way. And while you do that, visualize or intend. Either one is fine. If you have a hard time visualizing, you just intend it to be so, and it happens immediately. So again, visualize or intend that you have white roots coming out of both your feet and between your legs. So there are 3 roots that are white, and they're going down into the heart of the planet. So you grow them deeper and deeper through the layers of the planet until you reach the core of the planet, the heart of the planet, in which you'll find a crystal. It is a quartz crystal that you anchor your roots into. Just take a few moments and visualize that until you're deeply anchored there. If you're having a hard time getting them in there, you can imagine there's a magnet in the heart of the planet that pulls the roots in. Another way that works, if there's resistance, is imagine you're not grounding. Tell yourself, I'm not grounding into the core of the planet. Either way, you're going to ground, and your roots are in the core of the planet now. And now you start breathing out into the roots. Send your breath down through the roots, all the way out into the planet where it's immediately transformed. And when you need to inhale the answer from the planet. And that is fresh life force energy into your body and aura. And when you exhale out all the used up energy out of your body and aura into the core of the planet. And continue now in your own rhythm, breathing in, recharging your system with fresh life force energy, vitality, vigor, immunity. And breathe out, releasing your system of any used up energy, old energies, anything that hinders you, such as pain, disease. And continue in your own rhythm for a few breaths. You don't need to know what you're releasing. You just allow everything to go that no longer serves you. And you let in all the good stuff. 3 more breaths. Beautiful. Now let go of the thought, even though this continues to happen, and focus on your crown chakra, middle of your head, and visualize or intend a light rod going up from your crown chakra to God's source. You can call it God, source, love, however you want to call the source of all creation. And you're sending that light rod up there, just like you sent the roots down, intending it up, visualizing it up, not getting it up, having a magnet there. Use whatever tool works best for you. And once you connect it up there, start breathing in from above, all the way down into your body and aura, fresh energy. And breathe out to above like a whale spouts out. Now you're releasing other energies that need to go up, and you're receiving energies that are coming in from your divine source. These are more energies of beliefs. You're letting go of old beliefs, of doubts, low self-esteem, and you're breathing in guidance, clarity for your mission, self-esteem, the right beliefs. Continue in your own rhythm, breathing out, letting go. Whatever needs to go up will go. And breathing in, recharging from above, your whole body and aura. Three more breaths. Beautiful. And then let go of that thought, knowing it continues, and focus on your heart chakra in the middle of your chest. This is our third step and the final step. Now visualize or intend with the inhale, the energy coming in from above and below simultaneously into your heart. Breathing that in. And simultaneously out of your heart to above and below. Your heart now becomes a distribution center of those energies, breathing in from above and below into your heart center. Out to above and below. Continue in your own rhythm, focusing now on the energy of unconditional love. That is an energy, not a feeling. And you're breathing in unconditional love from above and below, from the heart of the planet and the heart of creation into your own heart. And you're breathing out what hinders your loving unconditionally. As you do this, you're synchronizing your heart vibration with the vibration of the core of the planet, the heart of the planet, and the heart of creation. And you're tuning yourself to a very high vibration of unconditional love. 3 more breaths now. Beautiful. And then you open your eyes. Now you're recharged, you're cleansed. How are you feeling? Check in with yourself.
It's fantastic. Much lighter, for sure. More streamlined, I guess aligned. Lighter aligned would be the two words that most come to mind. It's a lovely meditation.
I love that. And the lighter part has to do with you grounding, because a lot of people don't ground all the way into the core of the planet. They actually only ground either a little bit down or not at all. And if you don't ground all the way, you're literally not able to bring things into form easily, and life is harder. So life becomes lighter if you're grounded well. And it's like a lightning rod that when things come at you from the world, they just go down right away. They don't get stuck in you. You don't have to process them. And the connection above leads to more guidance. So this is a very powerful tool, and it's quick. It didn't take long, right? Of course, if you have difficulties in one area physically or with your beliefs or with your love, you just do that longer. I started off doing every segment 5 minutes. So the whole meditation is 15. And sometimes I do 15 in every section.
Wow.
So it's up to the listener, how long you can each. This was the shortest version.
Yeah, really beautiful. I really appreciate you bringing something so simple, profound, and practical to the show today. We are here to elevate the frequency, the vibration, the consciousness of humanity. And it's through conscious awareness, through noticing the ego, making a higher choice. It's very simple things: breathing, grounding to the earth, connecting to the higher realms. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to live. And I believe anytime any one of us grows in consciousness, all of humanity changes.
Ooh,
yeah. So, Ariya, I know people are going to want to connect with you further. Where's the best way for people to find you and your work?
Yeah. So I obviously want to share the third piece also, and that leads into where can they find me? It's basically connected, because my work is called Higher Self Mastery. And the third piece is, how do you access your higher self, right? And how do you access your higher self is a deeply spiritual route. It is a deeply transformative, and it actually eliminates a lot of the stressors and the hardships in your life, because you literally need to become lighter in order to access the higher self easier. And that's why I love this work. I have a course on my membership and a membership. I have a course and a membership, and you can get either the course by itself or you can get the course within the membership. If you sign up for the membership, the course is free. And if not, the course can be also just purchased on my website, which is called ariyalorenz.com. That is ARIYALORENZ as in zebra.com. And you find Higher Self Mastery there. I recommend, of course, doing the membership, because what you get with the membership is you get all access. You get access to the course, but you also get access to live sessions with me twice a month, and that are deeply transformative teachings, similar to what we did here, only, longer and a little bit deeper and on a specific topic that is relevant to your actual life. It's practical spirituality, I call it, and an energy session that comes with that. So where you're actually being transformed. Like I said earlier, we combine the wisdom and the healing. So you not only know what to do, you also enable to do it. Beautiful. And that happens in the membership. There is also a beautiful community that you can tap into. And we have community sessions where we go to the higher self together in a led way, or there are illumination calls where we're diving deeper in one of the teaching sessions that I shared. So it's a real way of living the higher self lifestyle. And the course is at the beginning of that, and it's necessary for that. It's a prerequisite, and you can, as I said, do the course by itself. The course gets you to master your energy, master your manifestation, and master the access and communication with your higher self. Beautiful. And from that course, you learn how to do it. You can then do it by yourself, or you go to the membership and you learn, you live it. You learn how to live it, and we help you with that. Beautiful. Either one is available on my actually only the course is available on my website. I'll give you a special link where people can access the membership here, because normally, as I said, the course is prerequisite, but for listeners here, they can go and get the membership right away.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I know people are going to want to be in touch with you. Well, thank you so much. I could spend the whole day with you. This is such a great conversation. I really want to acknowledge you for the work that you're doing in the world and the difference that you're making on our planet. It's just lovely to know you and to call you my colleague and my friend. So thank you for being with me.
Likewise, Jackie. I'm so grateful to know you and so grateful for your mission and just want to give a lot of energy to this amazing podcast. Everybody listening here, all the future listeners, the listeners from the past, let's just send a big energy wave to everyone. Breathing in together, sending energy to Jackie, if you're listening right now, to her podcast, to her mission, to everyone who needs to hear the message and has heard the message and will hear the message. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And I gratefully receive. Until next time.
Until next time. Blessings. Aloha everyone.